probably been doing these exercises for years, but what if I told you they might be silently wrecking your joints? I've been training consistently for over 5 years, and I used to think that pain was just part of the process. But after dealing with nagging elbow pain that wouldn't go away, I finally started digging into the biomechanics behind my training. What I found shocked me. Some of the most common exercises you see in every gym are quietly causing long-term damage. And the worst part, you might not even realize until it's too late. Today, I'm bringing out 7 overrated movements that do more harm than good and showing you smarter, safer alternatives that still get results. Most people train upper body for one reason: size and strength. Bigger biceps, rounded shoulders, wider lats. But no one really questions how they're training these muscles, and that's the issue. Some of the most popular upper body exercises are slowly wearing down your joints, especially your shoulders and elbows. These joints are highly mobile, but also fragile. And when you force them into fixed, unnatural angles under heavy loads, the results are predictable tendonitis, impingement, and pain that creeps in over time. I used to do easy bar curls all the time because everyone said they were easier on the wrists, but after a few weeks, I started feeling this sharp, annoying pain in my inner elbows, like right where the tendons attach. I brushed it off at first, but honestly, it kept getting worse. Turns out, locking your wrist into that fixed, semi-pronated grip puts constant stress on the biceps tendon. You might feel fine at first, but irritation builds up fast, especially when you're curling heavy. Dumbbells or cables let your wrists move more naturally and keep that pressure off your joints. Hammer curls too. I did wish I figured that out sooner. Honestly, upright rows shouldn't even be in most people's programs. Not only do they put your shoulders in a terrible position, internally rotated and flared up, but most lifters already have overdeveloped front delts from pressing movements. Adding upright rows just piles up volume onto an area that's already dominant while jamming the rotator cuff. It's all risk and very little reward. Lateral raises with a neutral or slightly thumbs up grip hits the side delts better and keeps the joint safe. So just skip the upright rows altogether. There are better, much safer ways to grow your shoulders. One of my gym buddies used to swear by behind the neck overhead presses. He thought they were more hardcore until his shoulders started flaring up. He had to take an entire month off because of the pain, only to realize that this one movement was the cause. Pressing from behind the neck forces your shoulders into deep external rotation. It grinds against the rotator cuff. Most people don't have the mobility for it, so their body compensates usually by jutting the head forward or arching the back. There's no real upside. If you want strong overhead pressing, go with barbell or dumbbell presses in front, or try landmine presses. They're safer, smoother, and just as effective. Common thread with all these exercises: they lock your joints into unnatural positions, especially under load. Yes, they might build some muscle in the short term, but long term, they wear down the structures that make progress possible, which is your joints. The fix isn't to stop training, it's to train smarter. For every high-risk movement, there's a safer, more effective alternative that still builds strength and size without wrecking your body in the process. Because muscle can be rebuilt, but once your joints are damaged, the road back is slow, painful, and full of setbacks. Choose movements that challenge your muscles, not your structural integrity. Quick pause. If you're serious about building muscle the smart way, check out the free 9-day workout plan linked down below. It's designed to target the right muscles for aesthetics while keeping your joints safe long term. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Maybe even consider subscribing if you want more content like this. Leg day is seen as a badge of honor, a test of discipline and strength. But beneath the heavy squats and loaded machines, there are hidden risks that most lifters overlook. Just because an exercise looks intense and lets you push big numbers doesn't mean it's effective or even safe. Some of the most popular lower body movements are biomechanical traps that quietly damage your hips, knees, and spine. Yes, your lower body has massive muscles, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, but it also has some of the most sensitive joints. Your hips need freedom to move. Your knees are built for stability, not twisting. And your spine, it can only tolerate so much load and flexion before something gives out. When your training ignores this, injury becomes a matter of when, not if. The leg press looks safe. Your back is supported, you don't need to balance the weight, and you can go incredibly heavy on this. But going way too deep is one of the fastest ways to mess up your hips and lower back. When your knees come too close to your chest, your pelvis starts to tuck under. This is what most lifters call the butt wink. It might not look like a big deal, but under heavy load, it's absolutely dangerous. That tuck rounds your lower spine and shifts the pressure from your glutes and quads straight into your spinal disc. At the same time, your thigh bones jam into your hip sockets, which creates friction. Do that repeatedly and it can lead to hip impingement or even labral damage. Studies in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy shows that spinal flexion under load is a major predictor of disc injuries. The leg press might feel stable, but that stability hides bad mechanics. Fix it by controlling your range of motion. Don't let your lower back lift off the pad. Or better yet, switch to split squats, goblet squats, or safety bar squats. These challenge the legs while allowing your hips and spine to move more properly. The Smith machine seems beginner friendly. No balancing required, just up and down. But that's exactly the problem. It forces your body into a fixed path it doesn't naturally follow. In a proper squat, your hips shift back, your torso leans forward, and your knees track over your toes. On a Smith machine, all of that gets restricted. The result? More stress on your knees, less glute activation, and pressure piling on your spine. Research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research shows Smith machine squats reduce glute involvement and increases knee stress compared to barbell squats. So you're getting less muscle stimulus and more joint risk. This is not a good ratio at all. Instead, you need to train with free barbell squats if your form is solid. If not, start with goblet squats or dumbbell front squats. These allow your joints to move naturally while strengthening the stabilizers that keep you injury free. Machines like the leg press and Smith machine give a false sense of control, but their fixed movement paths remove stabilizer engagement and push joints into unnatural angles. Over time, that leads to knee pain, hip impingement, and spinal issues. Training isn't just about lifting heavy, it's about lifting well. When your hips hinge freely, your knees track naturally, and your spine stays neutral. You build strength that actually lasts. That's why it's worth replacing risky movements with smarter, joint-friendly alternatives that still hit hard without breaking your body. Most people train triceps for arm size and pressing power, but one overlooked mistake? Choosing exercises that silently destroy your shoulder health. And one of the worst offenders is the bench dip. Bench dips seem pretty simple. Hands behind you, lower yourself, push back up. Easy, right? But the deeper you go, the more you force your shoulders into extreme hyperextension, especially if you're adding weight or rushing the reps. This puts a ton of stress on the front of the shoulder joint, the biceps tendon, and the delts, while all the joints is in the weakest position. Over time, this strain can actually lead to impingement, instability, and even labral tears. A 2019 study in the Journal of Shoulder and Elbow Surgery linked deep shoulder extension exercises to a higher risk of instability and labral injuries in athletes. So while bench dips may feel like a solid tricep movement, they're often a long-term injury in disguise. You don't need risky dips to build big triceps. I can speak for this myself. Pushdowns are joint friendly and highly effective. Close grip bench presses allow heavy loading without the shoulder strain. And tricep kickbacks done properly and actually using a cable, using it one-handedly, are underrated and safe. These alternatives keep your shoulders in a neutral position while still hitting the triceps hard. It lets you train consistently and safely, which is the real key to long-term growth. So what's the big takeaway? Just because an exercise is common doesn't mean it's smart. Some of the most mainstream movements quietly wreck your joints while delivering minimal extra benefit. From elbow straining curls to spine crushing leg presses, from Smith machines to shoulder hurting bench dips, many exercises carry hidden risk. And most lifters don't realize this until it's way too late, where they're already dealing with the pain, the inflammation, or the injury. But there's always a smarter alternative, something that builds size and strength but respects your joints, your structure, and your future. Training isn't about pushing through pain. It's about choosing movements that work with your body, not against it. So before your next session, ask yourself, am I training to build, or am I just going through the motions with exercise that is slowly breaking me down? Choose the lifts that keep you strong, pain-free, and progressing not just month to month, but for years to come. Now, here's the truth. It's not about doing more exercises. It's about doing the right ones the right way. Sometimes what you leave out of your training matters just as much as what you put in. If this video helped you spot the mistakes that have been holding back your gains, your next move is pretty simple. Go watch the only exercise you need for aesthetics in 2025. It's live right now on my channel. In that video, I'll show you exactly which exercise deliver the most results for making an aesthetic body in the big 2025. Click over and I'll see you guys there.